All right, everybody, welcome back. Thanks for watching. Today, I was thinking a little bit about student loan debt, right? So I was reading this article about how while debt people have taken on for like cars and home loans and credit cards has pretty much plateaued since the global financial crisis. This was like 2007. The student loan debt has basically skyrocketed, right? So here's the chart. Both credit card debt and stuff are flat, and then student loan debt is just going up like this, like that, right? So man, it really makes you wonder. That's going to be like the next like debt bubble. That's going to be like the next global financial crisis because the United States, I'm not sure where you are where you're watching this video, but that's pretty much how people pay for their college. They finance it, unless you're in a small percentage who, you have savings or whatever you pay for it. A lot of times people will just finance it. So how does the financing work? Well, the deal is that you get a loan, goes normally through Sallie Mae. It's federally insured, right? So because it's federally insured through the Department of Education, you get a lower interest rate. So it makes going to school relatively affordable. Thank God for a lot of people. It gives them the chance to go. I mean, I used student loans to go also when I went to school. So the problem is, the global financial crisis, there weren't any jobs. So what people did, it looks like, is for the past 10 years, they just stayed in school, right? So I'm going to go, whereas instead of, 4 years undergrad, right, I'm going to just take a loan, pay my tuition, whatever that doesn't pay, the refund check. And anybody who's been to college knows about the refund check. I mean, you stretch it out, right? You can live on that. Between that and like a part-time job, you could probably live on that, right? So basically, you take 4 years, I can go ahead and, take on loans. Boom. Now you might want to go to grad school after that because there's no jobs really. I mean, you going out, you're going to work at Starbucks or some place anyway. I might as well just keep going to school. Boom. Master's program. Maybe that's another year or two. Boom. Double master's program. Maybe that's another year or two. So now you like 8 years or something. Still no jobs. Bam. Okay, you might just say, I'm going to do PhD program. All the while, you're just taking on this debt. Now, the interesting thing about student loan debt is two things. Number one, you don't have to pay the interest. Well, you don't have to pay the loan until after you're finished in school, right? So you kind of put off the payments. Another thing about student loan debt is that it's not dischargeable, right? So let's say, for example, I take on loans for cars or something else like that. I file for bankruptcy, I can get those debts discharged, but, for 7 years, my credit is screwed. Student loans don't work like that. Student loans can't be discharged through bankruptcy. So basically you got that for life. So if you took on a lot of debt, it's there. Man, I remember when I used to live in Atlanta, we knew this dude, his name was Godswill. He was from Africa somewhere. But I remember, this was in this was in the 90s, right? This was in the 90s. This dude told me he had $85,000 in student debt. He was going to school to be a chiropractor. Like $85,000 in debt in the 90s? Do you know how much you got to make to pay that off? Probably the payment on that is probably $2,000 a month or man. Anyway, that was crazy. So anyway, the article was just saying how that's going to be the next thing that's going to explode. So I don't know, maybe something to keep your eye on if you're thinking about going to college or something. Keep an eye on those loans. Keep an eye on those loans, man. Or like me, I took some loans, but I paid as I went a lot of times, which is basically nothing exciting about that. You work a shitty job, you save that money, you wait till you get enough for one credit, boom, then you go, okay, for that one credit. It's going to take you a long time. I'm still not done all the way, but I'm not a big believer in debt. Growing up, I see what happens when, you're in debt and don't have any money. You guys saw the story, my intro to let you know, my playlist on this channel here. I saw at an early age that if you're in debt and you broke, nobody's coming to help you, right? And I didn't want to, I had enough of that from being a kid. I didn't want to do that again. I was like, we always try to avoid debt, you know, whenever we can, you know, whenever we can. I mean, whenever we can, you know, try to use my credit cards for the emergencies. You know, by an emergency, I don't mean a phone bill. I mean like, my car just broke down. I need $1,000 in repairs or I can't get to work. Boom. That's like an emergency. But anyway, I mean, not trying to be preachy, just, you know, part of this vlog is to kind of share things that I've learned along the way that have helped me out. So anyway, I just want to share that story, give you something to think about. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.